Well, greetings, salutations, and greetings. It's me, Robert Phoenix, and we're back for another edition of the Astro Weather. Welcome, one and all. I hope everybody is having a uh, tremendous experience with your day or night or wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in, because we know that our audience is global in nature. So let me just have another little sip of my coffee here. I'm about 90% there. 90% there. And I guess we're in the eclipse mode today, since that's the feature on the thumbnail. I've talked about the eclipse a lot, so I guess we can talk a little bit more about it today. I think we might just go more planetary today, but yeah, it's really interesting. I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram. I probably should. I should probably spend more time. I should probably do more Instagram. I just don't know what to talk about. I see all these Instagram videos and they're all really snappy. They're really snappy and funny, and where they've got cute animal stories going on. Like I saw this guy, he's got a pet coyote and he's got these little, I don't know, 60-minute clips of him and his pet coyote and how his pet coyote always snarls at him. I don't know if I'd want to have a pet coyote, to be honest with you. Like that coyote's kind of on the edge all the time. And he's like, "Oh, you're just in a little mood today, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're nar today, aren't you?" And the coyote, meanwhile, is bearing these fucking fangs. I'm like, dude, one of these days, that coyote is going to turn on you. And I'm all, hey, you're no coyote. Knock it off. I'm all for having an intimate relationship with nature. I mean, I think it's really cool. But the coyote videos they kind of make me nervous. I have to, and I don't usually get nervous, but I'm like, that dude is one bad moment away from losing some fingers with this coyote. Anyway, I should probably do more. Everybody says you should do more short videos. Do more short videos. Let me just say something about that. I am not averse to doing short videos and clips, but I'll tell you what it does. Is it promotes the lack of attention span in our culture, right? I mean, we've already gone from reading books. Like nobody will ever sit down and read War and Peace again. I mean, some people might, God bless them. But we've gone from that to sitting down and watching a movie. Most people will not sit down and watch a 2.5-hour movie. They just think, well, that's 2.5 hours out of my life that I can't get back again. That's just too long. But I'll tell you what they will do is they'll sit down, they'll binge watch like 5 or 6 30 to 45-minute shows. That's not a problem. It's just how weird their relationship with time. But I think that what they did, somebody figured out that the ultimate time for a YouTube video is like 14 minutes and 38 seconds or something. I mean, they've got it down to the second. And to be honest, I'm in the same place, right? Like if I can watch a video that's 15 minutes long versus one that's 45 minutes to an hour, generally I'll take the 15-minute video. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't partake in a small video every now and then. I do. But I also don't mind watching long form videos. If I see a video that's an hour and a half long and I like the subject matter, I'll watch it, right? So there's a part of me that thinks that if I do short clips and short form videos, I'm just contributing to the short attention span theater even more. And then there's another part of me that's just lazy too. I can just be honest. It's like, okay, I just spent roughly 2.5 hours creating content today. And yes, I can probably trim clips out of that. But if I spent 2.5 hours creating content, why do I need to create more content? So anyway, it's just it's an ongoing battle between my ears with short form content, which I know is you'll get more subscribers. I just feel under pressure, like I've got to come up with something short and clippy and quippy, and sometimes these things take time. You know what I'm saying? You got to get into a flow. All right. Let's see. Who do we have here? Okay. Let's start at the beginning. DJMC in the house. What's going on, Miguel? The California Contrarian. He is with us. Hola, hola, hola. Road trip. The eclipse energy dragged me to bed at 5:30 p.m. yesterday. No dinner, just sleepy. I slept until 12 noon yesterday. That was fucking decadent. It's like I didn't really have anything to do. But how many of you do something like that and you say to yourself, God, 5 hours of this day just went by. 5 hours where I could have been doing something productive. Well, it's all about quality versus quantity, right? It's like, what do you do with the rest of the day? What do you do with the rest of the day? That's what really counts. Not the 5 hours that you might have, 4 hours. But it's the rest of the day. So yesterday, my housemate, formerly my physical trainer, now my housemate, was having major car issues, and he needed to buy a new car. So he had to go to New Braunfels, which is 60 plus miles from where I live. Right. So I took him down there. He went to the little dealer there, got himself a car, and then went out and had some dinner, some really great Mexican food. Came back. So that was a quality, like, I don't know, 6 hours versus the 4 that I missed that I think I probably needed to sleep anyway. So it's all about, perspective, right? Long form sleep, short form sleep, kind of a similar discussion. The new next pod, what's up? Unable to sleep at 4 p.m. At 4 a.m., I was out. But I got like I said, I slept till noon on Monday. Unapologetically. The Lunar Duchess is here. This clip says, drained me. We'll hope that was at 4:27 a.m. We'll hope you're back. LD. Oh, it's Anky's 5th birthday. And Janine, Barbara's headed to Tucson. How about that? I've got my boy ready for boarding, probably right after this show. Good old Anky. Misbehaving 2, happy eclipse. Solar return to misbehave. Wow. You've got a solar return on an eclipse. How auspicious. Pardon me as I rub my nose. That happened to me last year. Pretty much. Day before. I survived. And so will you. Busby 777. What's up, Busby 777? Oli Kobe. Jackie Delario. From beautiful downtown Crestline? Beautiful downtown Crestline. That sounds lovely. There she is. Speaking of lovely, the lovely and talented one. The energy must be hitting me differently. I feel like I've had the zoomies since the year started. The zoomies. What is a zoomie? What is it? What is it? What is the zoomies? It sounds good. It sounds high. It sounds like you're zooming, right? You're zooming. That's a good thing, I think. There's Janine. Hello, Janine. Thor at the door. There's our guy, Steve. I haven't finished Sunday Night Astro Live yet. So far, it's excellent. Well, thank you, Vaporwave. Appreciate that. Catherine Rosen. How are you? Blessed new moon eclipse. Anyone feel the new Aquarius vibes? Yeah, I mean, in the spirit of friendship, as I drove 65 miles to help my roommate get a vehicle. I got to tell you, man, with this restaurant, it was really good. And the waiter was so good that my buddy paid for dinner, but I'm like, I'm throwing down an extra $10 for this waiter. Now, is that Aquarian vibes or what? Those are Aquarian vibes. It's like, that motherfucker was such a good waiter. I'll tell you how good he was. He was bringing me new iced tea when my glass was like down to a third. The iced tea's coming out. Oh, hey, let me bring you some better chips. We're halfway through the chips, and he's bringing us brand new chips, right? And they're coming out warm. Like, this dude was on it. So he deserved even more than his 20. I don't know what my roommate tipped him, but I threw $10 over the top. And it's a very Aquarian thing. So I think yesterday, my own way, I got into the Aquarian vibe. I was friendly, and people were friendly back. It was like we were one kind of happy family. Even the guys at the auto place were friendly. Of course, they're gonna be friendly and happy. They're selling a fucking car. Let's see. Back to the timestamp thing. Yes, you are back to the timestamp. Carolyn Wallace preparing for a winter storm in northern Wisconsin. Maybe you should prepare with Neil Smith. Neil's up there. Teresa, checking in from rainy SoCal. She goes way back to Blog Talk days. Pengreedy, what's up, Pengreedy? Save me, Walter. It is. Happy New Year, Fire Horse, all you Fire Horsies. Amy, Eclipse, here we come. Amy Gill, beautiful sunrise here in Indiana. Right on. And then we got Mark S. hanging out with the Pentecostal Mafia. There she is, Bonnie Willow, the great Bonnie Willow. It's a tremendous morning in Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful. Regina Lovett. Hi, Regina. And we have Diane Lycris, Elkiris. Diane, I always mess up your name. I'm so sorry. But you're here, and thank you for being here. Natural Mother, happy day of all the alignments. Eclipse, Ramadan, New Moon, Chinese New Year, Fat Tuesday. Wow, it's all lined up. How can you not have a tremendous day today? Big Dave Sullivan's here. We got La Chica Gitana. May the sun shine in your day. And for everyone, Maya Rose from Mexico. Guten Morgen. It is Diane from New York. We're just going to call you from Diane from New York from here on out. You're snappy. You'll fit right in. I guess so. Patricia McDowell. It's Soul Traveler. Granddaughter has other device. Okay. Well, you're here. We take on many different shapes and forms. Gate 30, clean the fire. Today is the fire. Ooh, look at that. Catherine coming in with some human design. I love it. Oh, you've seen the pet coyote guy? You've seen him? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, you're feeling a little nar today. Yeah. I'm gonna bite your fingers off. Yeah. It's like fucking weird. I mean, it's cute, right? But that dude is dancing in the devil's jaws. You want to come inside now? Yeah. Charlie, what's happening? Hit the like, please. Thanks, Steve. I'll throw that up there. Kristen Foos, what's happening, Kristen? Good to see you. Same dude on FB has pet grizzlies. Oh, really? Pet man. Wow. Mr. Natural. Perspectivized. The energy is high. I think so. Sounds dangerous. I think you're fine with just cats. Jasper this morning. I'm kind of waking up a little bit, the solar rays are starting to percolate over the eyelids, starting to raise up a little bit. And what do I see? Right in my face. Right in my face. Meow. Meow. It's Jasper. It's the first thing I saw. Meow. It's like, oh. Sharon Lewis, I'm dying. I've seen that video. I know, right? It's like, good luck with the coyote. Today's akin to an old train station, G. McCarthy, where all the tracks come together. I love it. I love it. You like the long videos. I'm glad you do. Okay. California Contrarian had a Pharaoh to join me in my garden. That's a little different. I think that's a little bit different. And again, look, if you can manage a coyote and have an intimate relationship with a coyote in your house, more power to you, right? More power to you. But I think like when it comes in your garden and you throw in some scraps every now and then versus, one or you're trying to brush its teeth is a whole different thing. Let's see. Who else do we have? Neil Smith, speaking of northern Wisconsin. There he is. Let's see. I'm good for when you want to go to sleep at night. Just put me on before you go to bed. And you'll go to sleep. TD fogged in here in, Michigan. Weather unbelievably odd. Yesterday we had weather advisory until 12 noon due to melting snow causing particulates in the air. Been binge watching Landman. That's one of those shows people are very into. Very Busby 777. I listen to audiobooks, but I keep falling asleep. Let's see. You do need whatever else is doing. You're not that person. Well, I appreciate that, Amy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Janine has to watch vids at 1.5 speed. I know a lot of people that do that. They speed them up. Time is a commodity. That is so true. I appreciate long videos with content. Shorts are fine for quick info tips, but the mindless, banal shorts. Sometimes I've worn a pair of mindless, banal shorts. It's a good thing nobody else saw them. Let's see. OG truthers don't need long videos because we've heard it all. There's some truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that. I'm not going to debate that, Steve. Debisu, what's happening? Your Sunday video was awesome. Well, thank you, Janine. I was very thorough. I was being a good Virgo on Sunday night. Catherine's recommending the Apple TV series Pluribus. Sci-fi, mind-blowing, intense. Okay. If you have Apple TV, check out Pluribus if you haven't seen it already. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Lisa Ann White. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Man, yeah, I slept a long time. I had the initial guilt, but it's all like qualitative. Melissa Stant, what's up, Melissa? She's relaxing. I'm relaxing. I'm doing my best. Crestline is cool as fuck. Okay, we got a recommendation for Crestline. Zoomies are when a cat gets wild and starts zooming around the house. Okay, now I know. I know what a zoomie is now. Learn something new every day. Frank Haneke, what's up, Frank? Dog owners know what zoomies are. Burst of energy. So is that what happens after my cat takes a shit? Does she get the zoomies? Is that what that is? This week's I said, well, you're welcome, Jim McCarthy. Carolyn Moore checking in from Maine. Robert, what might the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on someone's sun-moon natal conjunction at first Aries mean? Asking for a friend. Oh, that's complex, man. I think that could entail you. Okay, so this is not to demean any Aries. So if you happen to be an Aries, please just hang in there as I stretch the thread out a little bit. It seems to me that kind of conjunction would add a level of self-awareness to an Aries person that they may not have had before. Because Aries is a real paradox, isn't it? They're like very self-aware, but also not very self-aware. Like Aries are just about Aries. They're gonna do the thing. They don't really have time to think about self-awareness. If you've ever sat down and talked to an Aries and told them a story, they'll always say, "Can you please get to the end?" Right? Their Aries are more efficient than Virgos, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And so they're all about streamlining everything and just doing, right? And there is some self-awareness to that because they know what they need, but it's not cogitated and like super like, like Hamlet. If you think of Hamlet, Hamlet's a Libra. To be or not to be, to be or not to be, right? That's a very Libra thing. Hamlet's always pondering over his choices and decisions and the ramifications of them. It's such a Libra thing. So Aries is anti-Hamlet. But when you have what you're talking about, all of a sudden now the Aries has, a big field of self-awareness, like the ramification of thought and action. And it could be a very profound moment in time for said Aries. I gotta appreciate good waiters. I think he was the best. Yeah. I waited tables for a long time too. For sure. Benito Diaz. What's up, Benito? What's going on? Let's see. Julie Sunshine, 333. It's her daughter's birthday. Well, happy birthday, little cat. Jen's here. Yo. What's up, Jen? Checking in from Massachusetts. Jam Chloe. Trinity Productions. I think it's called La Conchessa. I think it's called Las Conchessa. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. Let's see. Now I got to plug the restaurant. This is really good. Hold on. I don't spend a lot of time in New Braunfels. It is blowing up. All right, here we go. It'll pop. Hold on. I guess I should talk about astrology pretty soon. La Cosecha. La Cosecha. This place was really good. Let me show you. I'll show you the website here. La Cosecha. right there. Look at that. Does that look good or what? Very inviting place. Look at that food. Look at that cocktail. I did not have a cocktail. I'll show you what I had last night. I'll show you what I had. I had the Camarones enchiladas, chipotle shrimp poblano, corn, onion, ancho corn tortilla, poblano cream sauce, Mexican crema, cilantro rice, and I got the refried beans instead of black. Let me tell you, it was fucking killer. It was killer. So if you're out in the New Braunfels area, I highly recommend La Cosecha. Here's your food tip for the day. Okay, if you're here and I haven't greeted you, thank you for being here. You can't see. Oh, right. I have to do it all over again. My bad. It's always the fucking. Where is it? I just had it. Las Cosecha. Right here. Okay, let me do it again. This always happens with StreamYard. Right there. You should be able to see it now. Yeah, there you go. There it is right there. And it's the menus, right? So this is what I had. Right. It was tough, man. There were a lot of good choices, but I had the Camarones right there. Next time I go back, they've got this steak thing where you could get, check this out. You get a half a pound of Wagyu steak and a half a pound of shrimp. That's their fajita with bell peppers, poblanos, onions, jack cheese, guacamole, pico, charro beans, ancho, chili butter, hand rolled tortillas. Am I making you hungry yet? I'm making me hungry. I got to stop. I have to stop. It's too early for that. Anyway, there you go. Let's get into the weather. I've got to bring up the. It would be it'd be nice if I could bring up the chart, right? Yes. Here we go. Let's get into it. So now, with 20 minutes left before I do the star of the day, we are clearly in a short form video. Okay, here we go. I'm going to make that a little bigger. And we'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so there's that eclipse energy. I mean, we are really on the tip of the eclipse right here. Look at that, 29. The moon is 29 Aquarius, so we're in new territory. Later today, it moves into Pisces. Wow, we have such an interesting blend of Aquarius and Pisces. Now that sun is nearly at 29 degrees, so we're not quite in eclipse territory yet, because that eclipse happens when the sun is at 29 Aquarius and the moon is at 0 Pisces, but we're about as close as it can get without it being on the button for now. So say goodbye to Aquarius. It was fun while it lasted. And Aquarius season, it's always too short. The shortest season of the month comes in like a lightning bolt and ends with a wisp of ash. So there you go. There's Aquarius. We still have Mars moving through the sign. And I think on Sunday night, I was talking about earthquakes in Hawaii, and fucking there was an earthquake that happened in Hawaii later that night or early that morning. I think you really want to pay attention to that lunar eclipse with Hawaii. That's the eclipse really, because it's right there, right in the center of the ring of fire, and lined up with. It's not right over directly over Hawaii, but it's lined up with Hawaii. Anyway, um, I guess today's kind of a day where we're wish casting, right? With that new moon in Pisces. What do you want emotionally? What's really important to you on an emotional level? Is it peace? Is it a balance between your emotions and your mind, so you have inner calm and inner clarity? How about joy? Want to dial up some joy over the next 30 days? Uh, Unexpected delight, the resolution of emotions that have been troubling, like a bridge over troubled waters. Is that what you want? Do you have wishes for your family? Is somebody in your family suffering or having a difficult time? You know, this new moon in Pisces, you know, if you ask humbly and connect with the spirit of all that is, and let go of any expectations, and then act as if it is so. That's the way. That's the way to go. So, you know, you want to think about that over the next 24 hours. What do you want? What do you want? And sometimes you'll be surprised. Sometimes you'll get more than what you wanted. And sometimes you'll get what you want, but it might not look the way that you thought it would. So that's the beautiful thing about creation. It always keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? At least we hope it does, so things don't get stale or boring. And how can things get stale or boring when we have a Sun Uranus square and the natives are restless? You know, I gotta say, man, I have friends who are pretty switched on, but when it comes to looking behind the veil, the dark veil, they're still they've been kind of normy. And now they're getting an adult dose of like Epstein world and everything that goes along with it. And watching these people wake up has been very interesting. Now I'm not talking about people who, you know, are just like, you know, wear your mask and take the shot. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who are open, right? They're open. They're not going to take the shot. They're not going to take, but they may not have traveled down that dark path. And now they're going down the dark path. And they're like, holy shit. So it's another cross section of our society that is getting an adult dose of like what's going on in what has been going on for a very long time. A very, very long time. I got a new channel for you guys to check out. Occult Observer. This guy's great. Totally great. And he's done, I think, probably the best breakdown of Eyes Wide Shut I've ever seen. And I know a lot about Eyes Wide Shut, but this guy's seen it hundreds of times. And there's the final scene, and he focused. It's when Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise and their daughter are in the toy store, and it's close to Christmas Day. And I remember the first time I saw Eyes Wide Shut. It was just so much for me to take in. It was at a movie theater. And I just remember feeling just so completely unsettled by that movie. And it took me a while, it took me more viewings to really peel back the layer and go, oh my God, look what the fuck is going on here. Look at what Kubrick is talking about. And there's a scene where she's the daughter is in the toy store, and there are teddy bears everywhere. Like Stanley Kubrick is the master of fucking uh, symbolism and what they call embeds, things that he'll plant in a scene that are there for a reason. There's a teddy bear. There's a bunch of teddy bears. It's sort of like an end cap of teddy bears. And there's this one teddy bear where when you focus on the teddy bear, like when you look at it, and it all happens very quickly, the teddy bear has a penis. Right? It's like, what the fuck? And there are some other things in that scene that you see. Right? Like there's like a Barbie, but it's like, the Horror Babylon, like the Scarlet Horror Babylon. And like you can find that, like, okay, I see that, I get that. But the bear with the penis, man, I'd never seen that thing. I guess where I'm going with this, right, is that there are people now who are starting to have that kind of, because Tom Cruise's character, that's what's going on with him. He's a fucking normie, right? He's a normie, and he's being taken into the underworld, and he's being shown things that he probably shouldn't have seen and may not have been ready for it. But there he is, right? And so this is what's been happening, and watching people who are pretty aware getting a full dose of this stuff is mind-blowing. And watching their reaction, because they're pissed, right? They're really pissed. And I'm like, well, it's been going on for a very long time. It just didn't start happening in the 1990s with the Epstein escapades. So there's a lot of shocking energy that's in the air. And for some of you who are watching, not shocking at all, right? But every now and then, even me, when I saw that little clip and there's that teddy bear with his little penis, I'm like, well, first of all, you're Stanley Kubrick, and you've got to think of the teddy bear with the penis. And second of all, now I don't know if the little girl was in the scene with the teddy bear with the penis, or they added the furry little penis in post-production so she didn't have to see it. But even that's kind of weird, right? I mean, when you think about it, like, how did that happen? And then this whole thing with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, I thought was just fascinating, because that movie is basically the end of their marriage, right? Kubrick is wicked. He's wicked. And is there a chance that maybe Nicole Kidman is actually MK Ultra programmed? More than likely. Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, right? Talking about programming. Anyway, the energy is a bit shocking. There's a bit of a shock wave going on. Now the moon is moving into Pisces, like we already noted. And very quickly, it's going to move into conjunction with Pallas, the true node, Venus, and Mercury. This is all within the next 24 hours. So the lunar transit is going to be very, very interesting. Pay close attention to your dreams. That's number one. Pay close attention to your hunches. Do not underestimate your hunches over the next 24 hours, whatever they are, right? And a hunch may have a sense of alert, but it doesn't have a sense of alarm. Does that make sense? There's a difference between being alert and alarmed. Alarmed is a phase after alert. By the time you get to alarm, things are you're in a action mode. When you're in alert, when you're in alert space, you can make changes without a bunch of cortisol shooting through your veins. And I'm not saying that this is a danger zone, but you just need to pay attention to things that are very, very subtle, that are just beneath the surface. And I think it's really important that you trust your instincts. Even if and this is the hard part. I struggle with this at times. Even when the world says whatever it is that you're experiencing is either invalid or oh, you're just, it's too much imagination or whatever, right? There's always like the check and balance of the world, but it's not always. I mean, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it can talk you off the ledge a little bit, but other times it's sort of like unintentional gaslighting, and people mean well. So this is one of those periods where, because Pisces is a mutable sign, it's easy to be moved off of your perception or off of your intuitive feeling. And it takes a great courage in a lot of ways to hang in there and say, you know what, I'm gonna stay with this. I'm gonna trust my feelings. I'm gonna trust my deeper inner knowing, because we're not in an intellectual space right now. Mercury in Pisces is not intellectual. In fact, Mercury in Pisces is in its detriment, right? Mercury in Virgo is in its rulership. And that's very kind of rational, analytical. So Mercury in Pisces is not that. And it's not a judgment, by the way. It's just that think of these transits as incorporating different aspects of your operating system. So with all this Pisces that's coming, it's asking your operating system to set aside, in some ways, rational conclusions and allow yourself to be guided more by intuition and subtle insight and nuance and feeling. And this goes on for a good 48 hours. And then once that moon comes through Pisces, it roars into Aries. And we'll have that discussion later this week. That's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be the first Aries moon. Like, okay, so this upcoming Aries moon, we will not see this upcoming Aries moon again, right? Because we'll have Saturn and Neptune at 0 Aries, and we'll have the moon at 0 Aries. It's never happened before. Well, it's happened, but it hasn't happened in a very long time. So this Aries moon is very auspicious, very, very auspicious, in as much as we have the new moon in Pisces, which is new. Pisces is the last sign, which means in some ways it's also old, right? So be prepared for this Aries moon to bring an entirely new, like, suite of perceptions, some of which may be very difficult for people to handle. Okay. Is there anything else? Mercury's in trine with Jupiter right now. We started that off, Sunday night in earnest. And that just, the retrograde Jupiter, as these planets move through Pisces and get closer, right, in that angular relationship, I think could be really good for recapturing, like, the imagination of your youth. And in many cases, most of us were much more imaginative when we were young. So I think that's really, really good. If that's what you want, if you're looking for an imaginative spark, something that frees you up from sort of these rigid conventions that we've had to establish in order to get through this world. Maybe read a good romance novel if you like those sorts of things. Okay, let's talk about our True Hemp Science star of the day. And of course, we bring in our banner for our good friend Chris over at True Hemp Science. And our True Hemp Science star of the day is Michael Avenatti. Before we dissect Mr. Avenatti's chart, we'll talk a little True Hemp Science. I'm going to bring up a prop here. This is a Moonlight. This is a little container of Moonlight, 10 gummies per pack. You got 111 milligrams of CBG, 60 milligrams of CBD, and 2.3 milligrams of THC. So if you're going to take one of these little puppies, and this is what they look like right there. You got a little sugar frosting on top right there. You want to make sure that you don't really have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting. Let's put it that way. It's a bit of a vacation in a container, and a fine one at that. Plus, it's also good for you. So that's one of many things that you can get at truehempscience.com. Spend over $100 and type in 15MINS, and you will get a goodie bag along with your order. Just spend $100 or more. $150 more, get you free shipping, and there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. So truehempscience.com, your one-stop shop for all things CBD. All right, do you remember this guy? He was pretty big a few years ago. His client, if I'm not mistaken, was Stormy Daniels. Remember old Stormy? And I think he might have also been representing Michael Cohen, if I'm not mistaken. Even though, like, when you think of Michael Cohen and you think of Donald Trump, the thought comes to my mind, what the fuck? Like, what was Donald Trump thinking about having Michael Cohen as his lawyer? I mean, I know it sounds a lot like Cohen, like Roy Cohen, but he was no Michael. He was no Roy Cohen. Anyway, Michael Avenatti was very aggressive. And look at him. He looks aggressive, right? Going after Donald Trump. And he was doing his very best to defend the honor of Miss Stormy Daniels. Now, Michael is an Aquarian, and he has his sun in trine with his ascendant. Now, this is generally the mark of a forceful personality, particularly when the sun emanates from the fifth house, which is the house of Leo, which means that he is going to have a big ego. He kind of looks like a big ego guy, right? And so he's able to channel the force, and he's got that 28 degree Aquarius, which is he's a wild card. He's a total wild card, and he's got that in conjunct with Pluto. That in conjunct with Pluto lands Mr. Avenatti in prison ultimately, which is where he is. Talking about a prophetic Pluto placement. Now, if you go through his like CV, he's actually a pretty impressive person, right? Like he's not. I mean, he's an ambulance chaser, but he's like a really, really good and accomplished ambulance chaser. Like he's won a lot of awards that were given out, not just by some chamber of commerce, but by his peers. So this is a guy that was very good at lawcraft, right? Saturn in the seventh house, in Taurus, right? And he's got that Saturn-Mercury square, which generally is indicative of a learning disability, but once you overcome it, you can have a very powerful mind. So AVENATTI was sharp, right? Mercury in Aquarius, Mercury trine Uranus. He could think quickly on his feet. He was there was a time when Tucker Carlson used to have these liberals that would come on and debate him, and Tucker would shred them. And he had Michael AVENATTI on, and and I knew who Michael AVENATTI was. And I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to this. And Michael AVENATTI not only held his own against Tucker, he kind of handed Tucker his lunch. Like Tucker was resorting to he called him weird porn guy. And he was kind of resorting to ad hominem. And anytime you go ad hominem, you're in trouble. Right. And AVENATTI also has Mars in Sag and Jupiter in Sag, which are legal. Right. Now, the Sagittarius rules law. The 7th house rules the representation of law. And the 10th house rules the execution of law. Okay. So these are very distinct. The 10th house is Saturn and Capricorn and Judges. Right. So AVENATTI he's pretty wired, right? Like he's able to debate. He's got this Mercury-Mars sextile right here. And it's fire air, right? And he's got Mercury trine Uranus. The guy, he's pretty sharp. Like but he's also a little corruptible and full of himself. And that's where he got into trouble. And he's got that Jupiter Sun square, and he overestimated his ability. And he also has a Neptune Sun square and a Moon Sun square. So he's got a lot of challenges with the ego and identity. And I'll tell you what landed him in jail. It wasn't Donald Trump. It might have been the DOJ. But Michael AVENATTI had the dirt on the University of Duke and Nike and Zion Williamson. And they had to, this is one of the reasons why they have name, image, and likeness in college sports. It's because players like Zion Williamson, pre-name, image, and likeness, were being paid to play college basketball. Duke is considered to be the Stanford of the South. And if you've ever spent much time listening to Zion Williamson, he may be a nice fellow. And you don't always want to judge a book by its cover. But there's no way that I would call Zion Williamson an intellectual. Like he was no Christian Laettner, let's put it that way. And so Michael AVENATTI had the goods on Nike. And he basically went to Nike and said, look, we can settle this out of court. And I don't know who he was bringing the suit forward with. I think his legal partner was Mark Shapiro, who was one of OJ's lawyers, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Nike didn't like it. They're like, we're being extorted. We are being extorted. This guy knows. This guy's got receipts that we basically paid Duke so that they could have Zion Williamson. And Zion Williamson could play at Duke where his tennis shoe would explode, which happened. It literally exploded at one point in time during one of his plays. He plays so violently. And that's what he wound up going to jail for. He wound up going to jail for extortion of Nike, and he's still in jail. Right? So I think with these squares, the Moon, Neptune, Jupiter, he overplayed his hand. Michael AVENATTI overplayed his hand. And, and because I think he's really bright and really sharp, he thought that, he could just do what he does and kind of intimidate his way through a negotiation or a legal procedure. And he got bitch slapped. But this is a guy who has a very interesting chart. He's no dummy. He's actually very, very bright and very, very quick on his feet in terms of thinking. As far as a lawyer goes, I probably, if you want to play that game and get in that world, I'd probably have this guy represent me because he's tough, right? He's got Mars in Sagittarius. It's also in sextile with Uranus, right? He's unconventional in terms of his strategies and things that he would do. Like you wouldn't know where he was coming from. But the unconventionality led to his demise. And now he sits in prison. I don't know how long he's going to be in prison for. But the reason why they have NIL is because if it came out that Zion Williamson had taken money from Nike for Duke, I don't know what the letter of the law is, but I would assume that there'd be grandfather clauses in NIL. And NIL means name, image, and likeness, which means that as a college basketball player or football player or baseball player or college athlete, period, you get paid. You get paid to play college sports now. So if Zion Williamson is grandfathered into NIL, mission accomplished. There's no penalty for Duke nor Nike, just in case the AVENATTI files came out. And he probably had the stuff. I don't know how he got it. He's got that Mars in conjunct with Saturn too. And it feels like he played with the wrong dragon, right? He poked the wrong dragon. You poke Nike, you poke Duke, you poke the NC2A, and you bring all those three forces together. Good luck. Good luck on that. He's a Libra rising, right? That's also very much in alignment with litigation and dealing with the scales of justice on an everyday life. The one thing I'll say about this guy, and you can tell, like when he was on with Tucker, and you could see that sun trine to his ascendant. The guy knew who he was, right? You see that with the sun ascendant trine. People know who they are. They're able to express themselves, or there's an authenticity to that trine. But what he didn't really quite understand was the overreach of that self-knowing, or what we call hubris or pride. All right, there we go. There's your True Hemp Science star of the day, the one and only Michael Avenatti. All right, the link for 15 minutes is in the description for today's show, and we will be talking a little bit about Robert Duvall, who just recently passed away, and we'll talk a little bit about his career, but more in terms of his passing and what it means culturally, because it really represents in a lot of ways the end of an era in terms of Hollywood and even the characters that Robert Duvall played. So it'll be kind of a meditation on the passing of a cultural icon in a culture itself. All right, hope to see you there. A little break from Jeffrey Epsteinville, and who knows, maybe we'll hit it back more tomorrow. All right, take care. Have a great day. Love you all. Chantaria, you're the best. Bye for now. Oh, don't forget, you can get a reading with me. and there's a link inside the notes for the show.